Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of F122 here on the ChesnoidPlays channel. If you're enjoying this save, then please do make sure you continue to drop the videos a like and make sure you're subscribed and you won't miss out on any more. We are in France today, en français, for the Circuit Paul Ricard. Not a great track for me, so ambitions high, expectations low, but we'll see what we can do. We had a really actually great result in Austria last time out, a P9, thanks to a safety car at the perfect time for the second race in 3. In Great Britain, we just had the pace. Brilliant, we love Silverstone. Canada, I very much got lifted into that P7, didn't I? But 3 points finishes in a row is actually very promising. France is more of a circuit where I'm probably going to be back to the kind of 14th and 15th again, but we shall try our best to finish a little bit higher. If we have a look at the performance index, which is here, we are still now back down to the 10th slowest team. But we're very, very close to AlphaTauri. We're not too far behind Aston Martin either. And then Alpina just a little bit further up the road. So with strategy, maybe we can pull something off here. I'll give it my best shot. Like I say, it's not my strongest circuit, but sometimes we actually have half-decent Grand Prix here. Less likely to get a safety car. Thank the Lord, it's fully sunny for the full weekend. Sometimes you get a safety car, but it's very, very rare because there's so much runoff area. You're not getting people run into wall and then clutter the track with pieces. There's not really that many corners where you end up seeing, you know, cars collide and have shards of carbon fibre all over the track. So we'll wait and see if there's any safety car. We have relied on it recently, but for today, we have a new rival, of course. We did that at the end of the last episode, or the last stream. I'm not sure if I actually made it into the episode. Pierre Gasly is my new rival. We've won one so far, that against Daniel Ricciardo. Time then to head straight to practice, and fingers crossed to get some good resource points on the board, because we really need to start kicking on. We've had a number of failures, which has been frustrating. Otherwise, we might be slightly further up the pecking order. Right, en français. Allez. Okay, so we're definitely much faster with the custom setup over a lap. We could have gone 3 or 4 tenths faster throughout that lap, so we'll go with that custom setup and just kind of try and live with the lack of, or the less straight line, the lack of straight line speed. It might be good for quali. We have noticed that, haven't we? We tended to qualify better, but our race pace is still off. It's probably because we're prioritising one lap pace more so than we are anything else. We'll see what we can do in quali. We'll get our resource points in from that haul. And hopefully we can get into Q2 with a decent lap, if I can actually string something together and not waste a heap of time going wide at a number of turns. And then fingers crossed with strategy. Again, we have relied on strategy and the occasional safety car, perfectly timed, to get some points this season. But we're getting more points this season than I anticipated. I didn't think we'd get many points this year at all, perhaps even if any. But decent 900 resource point haul there, which will come in very handy with the regulation changes about 3 or 4 Grand Prix away. We'll still spend them up until perhaps Spa, and then post-Spa we'll think about saving some resource points for any potential regulation changes. Right, come on then. Oh, you know what I've not done? You know what I've not done? You know what I've not done? I've not changed my components. I think we're just going to have to take that on the chin. We're going to have to take that on the chin. We will be starting at the back in France. I'll qualify, just out of pure curiosity at our pace, I'll qualify as best I can, but we're probably going to take... Oh, man, what a pain in the dick. I knew I'd forget to do that at least once this season. We are going to improve then. We're currently P12. Might be going a little bit lower soon. That's P6 for the time being. We'll return to the garage and see where we end up. Starting to get the feeling that maybe we need to up the difficulty. I don't know why we've all of a sudden been able to be much quicker than everybody else, when in some of the earlier tracks we were... No, I think P13 in the end, I guess. P13 in the end, so it wasn't spectacular. Teo's performance has really gone downhill, though. Teo was performing at my level and qualifying in 15th and 16th. He's fallen away now. I think it's more the fact that Teo's getting slightly worse with a lack of focus than it is that we're massively overperforming at the moment. I'm only 0.2 faster than Pierre Gasly in P17. Right, well, I'm actually going to save the tyres then from Q2 and just change all of my components. My own mistake, and I'm just going to have to take that on the chin. But that is the nature of it, unfortunately. To make sure that we are competitive in the Grand Prix, I'm going to have to make sure that we change out all of these worn components. Ah, idiot Ches. If it wasn't an individual error on my part, I'd be like, tis what it is. The engine weight's just a bit high. But the fact that it was me for Mick Schumacher on pole by 7.5 seconds. Must have been some rain in quali because look, they're 39s. They're 39s and 40s, and we were doing 32s and 3s. Mick Schumacher, it rained in Q3, and Mick was the only driver to get a lap done in the dry. Mick Schumacher on pole. Flashbacks to MSC on the front row of the grid. And yep, penalty, I'm starting last. I don't know, we should stand a decent chance of getting into the top 13 though. Let's see what strategy is going to look like. Strategy decided, fuel pumped in. We're going to go soft, medium, soft. And hope that we can make some progress forward from P last. Last to, well, not last to first challenge, is it? It might be a last to not a teen challenge, last to P12 challenge. A lot of mixed strategies in there. Look, a lot of the front runners on hards, then some softs in there with Leclerc, then a number of us further back, some mediums smattered in the midfield. We're going to go soft, medium, soft though. We're two-stopping, and hopefully we can make some progression forward from there. Mick, of course, starting on the on pole after lucking out with the weather. Either it started to rain at the beginning of Q3 and he was the only person to get out on a dry set before the track deteriorated, or it was raining and it dried up and he was the only person to get out and get a lap in before time ran out when it was drying up. Either or, Mick Schumacher on pole, and unfortunately for us, both Chesnoid racing cars at the back of the bloody grid. Teo P20 because he's just slow. Me P22 because I forgot to change my components. And, oh, that was a quick light sequence. I get a lot of wheel spin off the line. Always seem to get a lot of wheel spin off the line. We'll just mind our business in turn one. Let's see if anyone picks up any damage. Might be able to sneak around the outside of Latifi. Gonna be a long one, this. 53 laps. It is a fairly lengthy lap, but there's definitely places to be made. And with some hard runners in front of us, I'm going to look to make some of those places as soon as possible. Hello, hiya. That's P19 ahead of my teammate. Although I'm offline there. Now he's around the outside of me. And he's got a bit of pace. Excuse me, Teo. Excuse me, Nicholas. So, the idea when turning when you've got a car next to you, Teo, is not to just turn into that car. He ducks underneath me here. And then, quite clearly, we both have to turn left. But he goes for the apex. He shows no acknowledgement the fact that I'm there at all. Watch him cut across me here. Wham. How am I supposed to avoid that? He's gone to follow the apex as if I wasn't even there. Teo, mate. Hi, how are you? Jesus Christ. Teammates, hey, who needs them? Ah, yes. Straight line speed. About that. Lol. Hopefully that gets altered in a patch at some point soon because they are a bit too strong. We'll have to use our battery to keep up, but I'm sure we'll be fine come the end of the race. Oh, are you going slower through there, are you? I don't think so, mate. Up the inside of Nick Latifi. And Alex Albon is next. Oh, you're so slow. Can I get around the outside of you here? Yes, we can. Right, back to P20. Dear Mr. Porsche, come back here, you arsehole. I can't believe you did that. It's just like, nah, not even going to acknowledge the fact that you're there, pal. Just going to drive into you. Yeah, well, get behind me. Team orders, piss off. Kevin Magnussen's in the pits. He's the only one to pit. And straight line speed for the AI, anyone? Oh, never mind, you've locked up. Well done, Taylor. That's not gone well for you, has it, mate? They will bunch up a bit here. DRS is going to be activated from next lap. Hi, Seb. Throw it up the inside there. Try and keep myself within DRS range of the car in front. We want to go to lap 14. Tyre wear is going to be high here.
We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
See the difference in pace between Tsunoda on the hards and those around him that were on the softs and or mediums. Gasly's going to have a look at his teammate here. He's going to fail miserably at trying to get past him. And the two AlphaTauris are holding each other up here, which plays into my hands beautifully. Thank you very much, he says as he then goes wide. I hate that corner. I think my rear tyres are getting as worn as they are because I'm using so much battery, so I'm putting so much extra torque through those rear. Although I say that, front tyres have got 12% wear as well. Two Mercedes are just disappearing out in front, aren't they? I don't know what's happened to Mick or where he's fallen to. P5 by the looks of things behind the two Ferrari. Seb is very interested in the back of my car at the minute. Mick has a bit of a traffic jam behind him. Hi, Seb. Bloody hell, they're just too strong in a straight line, aren't they? It's a bit silly, really. Hi, Seb. How are you? I'm staying in P16, thank you. There's a yellow flag somewhere. I think it's the Williams behind. Maybe, not sure. Yeah, one of the Williams behind is going very, very slowly indeed. Someone's about to retire. Not sure if they've had contact or... He's still going very, very slowly, but continuing. Has he got a puncture, maybe? Oh, no, no. Well, maybe something in his engine bay has gotten a puncture, but that is certainly bang. Nicholas, the TV out of the session. Shock. There's just nothing I can do here. It needs a patch, doesn't it? It needs a patch. It's just too fast in a straight line. Just needs balancing, because the way that it feels that the AI are balanced difficulty-wise is that the lower you have the difficulty, the slower they are in the corners. But in a straight line, they're just as strong, it feels like, on almost any difficulty. They're just very, very strong in a straight line. So ordinarily you feel like, in real life, it's all about overtaking in the DRS zones, but on the game, you don't get the chance to overtake in DRS zones because you can have DRS on the car in front that doesn't have DRS, and that car in front is still going to be faster than you. Depending on your difficulty level, obviously. But like in the turns, I'm quite comfortably able to stick with them and quite comfortably able to maintain pace, if not overtake them. But then this happens in a straight line. Maybe in future we'll just put a little bit less downforce in. Daniel Ricciardo in the pits. From those medium tyres onto softs. That is definitely, without any shadow of doubt, a change because of damage. There's no way he would have done that purely for strategy. So Daniel Ricciardo picks up damage. We're up to P15. Thinking about pitting in about 4 laps time. I don't know whether to go soft. I might just need to be as competitive as possible at this moment in the race, just to be able to stay with everyone in front, because if they just DRS away from me, it doesn't matter what we do strategy wise, I just will never be fast enough to catch up. I kind of need to stick with them as long as I can. I think the best way to do that is to go soft. Might have to go soft hard. I'm sure he said the mediums could do about 40 laps, wasn't it? Gasly pitting? There's loads in the pits, actually. Gasly is in the pits. And Zhou Guanyu as well. We're up to P14. I presume that's just one for strategy, because Gasly didn't get any damage on that lap. He just pulled off into the pits.
Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
So as we wanted to go into the pits, we now can't because Teo's pit on lap 12. So we will then pit on 13. I'm going to have to go a lap longer than him, which is not what I wanted to do. But I have no other alternative at the minute. Right then. Into the box we come. For the first of probably 2, not 3 stops, at least aiming for 2, not 3 stops, we are in the pits. Going to a second set of softs. And then, hopefully, mediums after that.
Perfect.
Good stop,
On the
2.3
turn
stop.
looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. All right, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left.
Here goes my teammate. Who undercut me. And has gained some time because of it. He went through the cold tyre phase. I'm now in the cold tyre phase. Keep my temps up so I can see what they look like. So 1.9 seconds the gap to my teammate in front. Currently P19. And now it's a decision whether we go to mediums or hards at the end. If we're not quite going as far on the softs as we perhaps anticipated or hoped, we might have to extend this second soft stint just to make sure that the mediums get us to the end without making us unnecessarily slow. I'm going to try and catch up with Teo if I can. Look at the amount of time that Gasly's gained. Gasly was fighting with us before he pit. He was right behind me, and because he pit so early onto those softs, he's now 5.3 seconds down the road. Fernando Alonso in the pits now as well. Presumably he started on softs. Yep, soft to soft for him as well. Good stop, 2.3 seconds. Right, should have DRS now. Good. So we've closed up to our teammate. Thanks for following Burmo19. Welcome to the channel. Let's say bye to Valtteri, shall we? See you later, pal. Tutty buys. Alonso's only 1.6 seconds behind now as well. This set of tyres are not holding up great. Bottas is going to take Porsche. We'll try and catch back up. Aim to pit lap 23-ish, I think. I'm conscious of maybe trying to undercut Teo. I imagine he's going to pit lap 24 because he did 12 laps on his first set, and I imagine he'll do 12 laps on his second. So I wouldn't mind trying to undercut my teammate. Checo's out of the session.
Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
That's at the end of the first sector. So Checo is out. That's another place gained for us. Yep, just a technical fault. Just a technical fault. Nothing more so than that. Hydraulics maybe. Now Fernando is going to just say toodle pit down the next main straight, isn't he? In fact, he's going for it now. Getting a bit aggressive with it. He definitely turned into me there. There's Checo.
Our gap to the car in front is 1.5 seconds.
P17, soon to be P18.
Flag.
Because bye Fernando. Don't call his name, he's not your babe. Fernando. try and stick with Fernando to go and get Teo. I'm going to end up having to use all of my battery. Yeah, this is the first race that we're doing that's ahead of the real-life calendar. We did the Austrian Grand Prix yesterday on the same day as the Austrian Grand Prix in real life, which worked itself out quite nicely, didn't it? Didn't plan it that way, it's just how it happened to settle out. We might have another set of new softs. We do, so we could do the same. I could also 3-stop, soft, soft, soft. But it depends on whether we think they can close up an 18-second gap. If they're that fast and can close up an 18-second gap, then we'll go for the extra pit stop, or we think they're going to. Then we'll go for the extra pit stop to stick with them. If not, then it makes sense to stay on the current 2-stop. There's more in the pits. Kevin Magnussen's pitting from behind us. Daniel Ricciardo's pitting from in front of us. Yuki Tsunoda's gone from his hards to his mediums. That's Yuki's one planned stop. And my DRS is offline. Perfect. Just as I catch Teo Pourchaire, my DRS goes offline. Daniel's gone to hards. So Ricciardo hards to the end of the Grand Prix. No, I don't have DRS because it's bloody broken.
There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out. We can work on a fix remotely.
That's weird. It is open. My DRS is stuck open. My DRS is stuck open? It's going to help me, actually, more so than not having it stuck open, it seems.
The car behind's just boxed for mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre now.
Who'd have thought that the car could brake and it would actually make me faster?
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for safety.
Two more in the pits. Stroll, Albon, actually, and Mick, and Ocon, I think. Mick and Ocon in and now out of the pits in front of us. DRS still broken. Still broken and stuck open. I mean, I'll take it. Just keep me in touch. PM, thank you very much for the 3rd month, mate. 3rd month, mate. Appreciate it, dude. Tell you where the pits on lap 23. I'm going to try and push this set to lap 25 or 6, I think. Okay, Alonso's also in the pits. He'll be the one that picked up damage, surely, because he didn't pit that long ago.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
Can confirm, Mark, I am pushing, pal. So Zhou Guanyu has closed that gap from 17 seconds to 13 seconds. But it doesn't look like it's closing quickly enough. Doesn't look like it's closing quickly enough for him to be able to negate that extra pit stop. So I think just the 2-stop is going to make sense for us. DRS still broken. I don't know whether they'll fix it in the pit stop or they'll find a remote fix, or whether my DRS is going to be open like that for the rest of the Grand Prix. In real life, the FIA would have called me in. They'd have told me to come and pit because it's illegal and unfair. I would have had to have come in and fixed it. Valtteri Bottas in pits again. Tyres are 35 to 40% worn. 40 on my front left.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
We are, but probably not for long. I will pit on 26, I think. I'll pit 26. Right, let's tell the team we're going to box this lap.
Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
I believe my DRS is now fixed. Indeed it is. So DRS now fixed. It's not stuck open like it was before. And we are into the pits again. for the second and final time for a set of medium tyres, pitting from the points, going outside the points, hoping to get maybe back to the points again. Unlikely, but we'll give it a go. I need a quick stop though, lads, please. .3 seconds will do nicely. 2.3 seconds will do really nicely.
Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race.
There goes my teammate again. So we've dropped to P19, which is effectively last at the minute with the 3 retirements. Now it's a case of how much faster are we than those in front of us on slightly fresher tyres. He's only slightly fresher. We think Zhou Guanyu, well, we know Zhou Guanyu and Pierre Gasly have to pit again. And if there's a safety car later in the race, unlikely, like we say here, but I do have a fresh set of softs I can go to as well. Of course, Gasly is my new rival now, so Pierre Gasly is the one we want to finish ahead of. We qualified ahead of him, now we want to try and finish ahead of him too. There is a number of cars in front of us here, isn't it? Stuck behind an Aston Martin at the minute. I don't know whether Aston Martin is carrying damage or is just slow, but they are well and truly stuck behind him at the minute. What are they on in front, tyre-wise? So Ricciardo's on hards and everyone else is on mediums, but it's Lance Stroll that's holding everybody up at the minute. He's done the same strategy as myself and Teo. We know that Zhou Guanyu and Pierre Gasly both have to pit again. We anticipate them falling behind us when they do. I think Bottas is probably going to have to pit again as well, maybe, at the end of the race. No, 24 to mediums, he should be okay. If we're okay, he's okay. I couldn't tell you where we'll finish this Grand Prix. Ricciardo forced a long way wide there. We might finish dead last in 19th. We might finish 11th. Not sure. We are definitely faster than the cars in front right now, though. The strategy is, at present, feeling like it's coming to us. We were slow on the softs, but on the mediums, we seem to have some pace back again. And we're past our teammate. Up to P18. We are no longer last. Might be last again soon. Hang it around the outside of Daniel. Oh, he turned into me, but no damage to either, it seems.
Nice work.
Might get lucky there.
Upper place.
And we're up into P17. Sorry, Daniel. Caught you napping there, mate. And now Teo's having a go. Might have a go at me as well. Well, they both backed out of it. K-Mag's run wide there, battling with Alex Albon. Saw a duck underneath him, and that's another position. Up to P16. It's all coming to life out of nowhere. I feel like George Russell in the Williams. Excellent qualifying pace, but race pace just isn't there, but occasional points. Go for Alex Albon as well, up the inside there. P15. Now Gasly and Zhou Guanyu are in the pits. So they're making their final stop now. That's us up to P13. Lance Stroll is P12. And then there's a bit of a, well, I say a bit of a gap. There's a big gap up to Fernando Alonso, who's 9 seconds down the road, with Valtteri Bottas in P10, which is where the points are and where I'd love to get to. I don't know if we will. The fact that there's so many cars here all battling one another is our saving grace at the moment. We're able to pick them off one by one, and they keep battling with one another and slowing each other down. With battery and DRS, we might be able to get around the outside of Lance Stroll here. Yep. That's P12. Now I need to try and get away. Easier said than done.
Okay, gaps of the car ahead is 9.5 seconds.
But that is a number of cars dispatched of in about 3 laps. Really pleased with that. The car just doesn't behave well on soft tyres, but this is why strategy is so important in Formula 1. If everybody just had the same tyres for the whole race, we would be still probably tucked up behind our teammate. But because strategy is so important and there are so many different variations of it that you can utilise, we've used it to our advantage today, and we've gone from P19 to P12. Technically, we've gone from P22 to P12. Although, all 3 of the retirees... Actually, no, Latifi we would have finished ahead of, but we would probably have been behind Lando Norris and Sergio Perez. So, we'd probably be P14 right now. Which, judging by all the races we've done so far this season, is around about our average finishing position, isn't it? 3 P9s, a P7, 4 P15s and a P14. Our average finishing position is probably 13th or 14th. Probably 13th because of that P7. But we might be able to change that average up to a P12 if we're able to finish this race in this position. But we are pulling away from those behind. Love a bit of strategy, don't we? As much as I bitch and whinge at the beginning of Grand Prix about our inherent lack of pace in a straight line and oh, the game and oh, nice setup. Actually, we're doing alright, you know. Gap behind's now opened up to 5 seconds. It really helps that it's Stroll and then Albon. 2 of the slower cars in front of some quicker cars. If Ricardo's on hards. If Ricardo was on mediums, he'd probably get through. And Magnussen's back there as well, isn't he? I think it's Magnussen. Mick's still P8, isn't he? Mick's P6 now. Go on, Mick. Not yet, actually. Safety car wouldn't be lovely yet. And Magnussen in the pits. We're up to P12. Or were we already P12? I think we were already P12, weren't we? Magnussen, because of the nature of the pit entry, when you enter the pits here and don't have to go and do that extra 2 turns, you actually end up going ahead before then coming back behind. So, briefly, I thought Magnussen was someone we were overtaking whilst they were in the pits, but technically they were behind me to begin with. So, we stay P12. Come out 15th if I pit. My brain is thinking, I might have a pit stop in Ange, you know, just to run some soft tyres at the end. But I'd come out just behind Zhou Guanyu. We'd come out basically in that gaggle behind. It would be pitting for the sake of pitting. I could go for a fastest lap attempt, but I don't know as I'd get it. I think George is probably just too fast anyway. But we've shown really good pace on the medium set. Really good pace. It was bold, to be fair. When we started P22, it was bold to say P13 or higher. But with Perez's DNF, we definitely gained a place. But we have finished in front of the McLarens relatively regularly. I don't know whether we would definitely have been beaten by Lando. So I think P13 on genuine natural race pace is probably where we are, which again is about right for the difficulty. We just seem to be getting our hopes up with qualifying, and I'm just not quite. Let me just run wide and let Max through. Not quite able to turn our quali pace into race pace, unfortunately. But saying that, we have had 4 point scoring finishes in our first season, so it's still not bad, is it?
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Yeah, it always used to be the other way around, Ryan, you're right. Always used to qualify poorly but race well. Now we qualify well. I wouldn't say we race poorly, we just don't race as well as we qualify. As we round the final corner, we are starting our last lap as the cars in front are now on lap 53. We're on lap 52. A lap down, thankfully, because we have half a lap's less fuel needed to complete that final 53rd lap should we need to do so. So praying for no massive clump of 4 retirements in one go in front, otherwise I won't finish the Grand Prix. At the beginning of the race, was very frustrated with our lack of pace on the softs. Our car just doesn't react well to soft tyres. But since we switched to the mediums, you saw the way we scythed through those cars from P19 to P13. We just blitzed through them and then pulled away as well. There is genuine pace in this car, even with a slightly higher downforce setup. And with the AI's strength in a straight line, we're still able to have decent race pace. Last year, as in on F121, we used to qualify not that great, but race really well. This year, we qualify really well. Race pace is not as bad as qualifying was for us last year, but certainly our quali pace is our strength this season. And race pace has been pretty decent. It's been good enough, certainly. Lewis Hamilton. No, Charles Leclerc wins the race. What happened to Lewis? Lewis was leading Charles Leclerc. When we got lapped, Lewis was in front. That's science. Wow. So I don't know how Charles Leclerc has gotten in front of Lewis, whether there was an issue or they had a coming together or had issues getting through traffic. But Charles Leclerc was a good 3 or 4 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton when we got lapped about 7 or 8 laps ago. And Charles Leclerc has gone on to chase Lewis Hamilton and pass Lewis Hamilton for the win in the final few laps. So GG Charles. Got the win in Austria in real life, now gets the win in France here in our career mode. Is that a sign of things to come for the race at Paul Ricard in real life? We shall wait and see in due course. For now though, very happy with the P12. Oh, I feel like I experienced every level of emotion in that race. We went from pure frustration at a lack of pace on the softs early doors to the realisation that we do have genuine race pace in this car, and it really is very heavily track specific for us. We will have big highs and we will have gutting lows throughout the course of this season, but I think we are where we need to be difficulty wise. It just chops and changes every bloody race, it seems. Congratulations to Charles though, stealing the race win at the death. Not sure what that does for the championship. I think Max is still leading. Let's have a look at the standings. So Max is still leading the way, although Sainz is P2 in the championship, 8 points back. Leclerc P3, a further 2 points back. Then there's a jump to Lewis. But Max gets a P3 here. Fair play to Mick, qualified on pole, took advantage of that, managed to get good points for Haas there. Really pleased. Unfortunately, Aston Martin picked up some points there, and they will probably close the gap on us now in the constructors. We gain the advantage on Pierre in both qualifying and the race for our rivalry. We're not quite level 10, as you can see there. Very, very nearly, but not quite. Nearly $500,000 in, though, from our sponsors and our bonuses. Vamos, just what we need. Some more finances would be very much appreciated. That was round 12 of the season, and we've had some items pass. Now, I am going to spend my free time here reaction training my teammate to hopefully ensure that he's a little bit bloody quicker. With 1,400 resource points, I'm going to put older parts back in the car for Hungary because it's not quite such a straight line speed specific circuit. Even in the slightest, they always call it, and we always use the same adage, it's Monaco without the walls at Hungary. So absolutely, we want to make sure that, might as well leave that gearbox in, want to make sure that we're as competitive as possible whilst managing the wear on the car. So we've had a number of things go onto the car there. A couple of chassis things are in the works. So let's go and spend some more money on aero if we can. Side pod profile is done. I have 1,400 resource points. Do I DRS activation? That might actually help us considering our lack of straight line speed. To me, that makes sense. I'm going to put that on. And then I've got 600, so I can't do anything else here, I don't think, no. In chassis, we're at department capacity. Pistons have upgraded there, so we could... Oh, we can't quite afford engine power. Can absolutely do the ERS. Can't afford the fuel, though. Fuel efficiency is probably an area where I'm going to look to improve sooner rather than later. Durability, ICE materials improved, which is good. 501 for MGUH. 650 for MGUK, which I can't quite afford. What's wearing more, MGUH or MGUK? Our MGUH is wearing higher, isn't it? So which one was? I think the MGUH was the one that was more expensive, wasn't it? Ah, no, it wasn't. Right, okay, we'll put that on the MGUH then. Cracking. So our durability is the worst on the grid, but hopefully it will improve throughout the course of the rest of this season. Very pleased with how the season's going, I have to be honest. As much as I might complain at times in videos and in streams about our lack of pace at any given moment, we are still having as strong a Season 1 as we ever have done in any My Team. 3 points finishes in a row, followed up by a solid P12 in France. Now we go to Hungary, where hopefully, with the extra downforce we know we can put in the car and get some performances out of it, maybe, with it being not quite so straight line heavy, we can have another strong showing. But that will draw us to a close for this particular YouTube video. Please, as ever, of course, make sure you drop the video a like and subscribe to the ChesnoidPlays channel so you don't miss out on any more. You guys are continuing to show fantastic love on every single F1 video that goes up. And I can't thank you enough for it. The past 2, if not 3 videos have been 1 of 1 in the performance charts. So please do continue to come back every single day that you have an upload in your sub box. And hopefully we can continue to send this second channel from strength to strength. I really appreciate the support. More so than you could possibly imagine. That's all for today though. Thank you very much for watching. Preemptor now. Tomorrow's stream. Today's stream as you see this video and tomorrow's video going live on Wednesday morning will be the last one for a few days. I'm off to Canada to the EA offices in Vancouver from Wednesday to Sunday, so there will be a gap without uploads on the second YouTube channel. Just be aware of that. I will mention that again at the beginning of the next episode. Please do continue to come back though. When I get back, I am slightly apprehensive that the interest in the series will wane and we won't quite get the views and the interest when I come back after a short break. Please do. This is me asking very kindly. Right. I shall see you tomorrow, though, in the Hungarian Grand Prix at the very least. I'll see you then.